It's a big day on Friday with 5 runners across 2 states, so let's start there. At Geelong, Casterly Rock makes his debut for Blue Blood Thoroughbreds.
He's done very well. He's no doubt a horse that's going to improve for the experience. Bit of a raw individual. Lovely middle distance horse for us going forward. So he'll be much better for the run, and once we can see him over a little bit further later in his career.
At Canterbury, Sir Owen Glen's 3-year-old colt, head of the herd, is building a lovely record, and he steps out over a mile for the first time after a dominant win against the older horses last time.
Yeah, very dominant performance. It was very interesting to see him with the addition of the blinkers on that occasion. So they certainly proved their worth. I think he's ready to take that next step into town now. Canterbury Park looks to be a lovely track for him. Expect him to be very hard to beat once again.
Venetian Blue hails from Sir Owen Glen's unrivaled boutique broodmare band, and while she looks likely to excel over 2,000 metres and possibly beyond, a mile against the girls here looks to be a nice stepping stone.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think she's in need of the run there first up. She's well supported in the market, but ultimately just a distance well short of her best. I think now stepping up slightly in trip, she's certainly going to be better suited. She's performed well around this track previously in the past, so expecting a much improved performance.
Shannon is piecing things together this preparation, but with the benefit of a run under her belt and the fact that she races the mares this time, should we expect to see significant improvement from her?
Yeah, most certainly. I thought she was very good last start. She travelled very well. Came under pressure, but I thought she kicked nicely. I think the distance just told for her first up. I think she can improve significantly off the back of that run.
The Newgate Farms Syndicate have Hyde Park taking his place on Friday night. How do you expect him to measure up here?
It looks a nice race for him to resume in. No doubt it's going to be a horse that improves over a little bit further, but the small field, if you can get the right run to suit, I certainly expect him to run a very competitive race for us.
Moving on to home turf at Randwick on Saturday, Evergreen Stud Farm have the well-bred colt Anode on debut after 2 very eye-catching trial wins.
He's been very pleasing in his campaign to date. He's looked the ultimate professional in both his trials. So he's ready for the next test. A small but competitive field. He's certainly going to have to be at his best, but he certainly looks to be a colt with a bit of upside.
Dajran drops back in grade for the first time in a long time after an improved second up run. How has he trained on since then?
He's continued to train on nicely for us. Obviously, being off the scene for a long time, I think he's just needed a bit of racing to get back to his peak fitness. We can see him close to that point right now. I thought it was a very encouraging run last start. He travelled into it nicely, just peaked on his run. So with the additional improvement taken from that, I expect him to be nice and competitive here.
And last but not least, the girls. Zoophoria and Rocketeer Girl need to take their midweek city wins to Saturday level, but both look really well placed here to do so.
Yeah, a lovely piece of programming here. They look to be found a really nice race for them, a great opportunity to capitalise on Saturday grade racing. Zoophoria in with the claim, gets in very, very light indeed. Expect her to be very competitive off the back of what was a dominant maiden victory there last start. She looks to be a filly with plenty of upside. Rocketeer Girl can be very forgiving of her last start. She did race in Saturday grade off the back of a midweek win, but just found that the heavy conditions quite testing for her and wasn't able to run to her best. So she'll improve back on top of the ground.